Meet my friend Harsh, who is a backend developer with deep experience in Ethereum and Solana and a winner of over 30 hackathons. He specializes in smart contracts and blockchain architecture, turning abstract ideas into scalable functional systems. So come join our very scrappy conversation.
I've been working in the crypto space since past 3-4 years, and when I saw the network school, I've been following Balaji since more than a couple of years now. And when I saw that his idea of network state is actually becoming a thing now, so I was like one of the first people to apply, and I'm happy that I got in and got to meet all the lovely people who are here. So yeah,
Yeah, cohort
yeah,
one,
cohort one.
V0.
Yeah,
Mind telling us a little bit more about how you ended up being such a key participant in the hackathon space?
sure. So I've been doing hackathons since I was like an undergrad. I made my best friends in random Discord DMs. And yeah, at first, as a beginner, like I was like struggling and everything and so on and so forth. But now at the moment, I'm a more of a backend and a smart contracts person. There is one friend who is like good at front end. So we are like compatible. So that is like the team formation we do. And hackathons in general are my way to keep up with the crypto space because the crypto space keeps on growing so rapidly. There are so many new protocols, so many new things happening. Even though all of my friends and me all have a full-time job in crypto, we would still prefer a hackathon just to stay in shape and just keep on learning and new things about crypto.
Which one has been your favorite one and why?
There are a bunch of ETH Global hackathons which keep on happening. So ETH Global is one of the biggest entity in the Ethereum hackathon space, which keeps on doing 7 to 10 hackathons every year. And all of these hackathons will be in different places of the world. So the recent one was in Bangkok along with the DevCon. So that's a good excuse as well for you to meet all your Twitter friends in different places of the world because that's like a good networking place as well. The entire crypto world comes to a particular space. And then Solana also does a lot of global hackathons. One of the recent one is they are doing an AI agents hackathon, which is like something I'm looking forward to as well. The recent one, the in Bangkok one, that was one of the biggest hackathon for prize pool wise. It had a prize pool of 750K. So that was one of the biggest global hackathons ever. Like considering the prizes and my team, we were able to win like around $8,000 out of it. I still consider that I would keep on doing for the next few years at least, because that's the thrill you get. That's the fun I have. We try to make it big in that particular ecosystem. And the reason I built so many products is because I want those products to be alive in this world. So if I build something, it should stay alive in this world. I'll try to build it for a hackathon. And if we win it, so that's basically a validation for your idea that, okay, there are a bunch of people who think that this idea is valuable. So now you can make it bigger than just a hackathon project. So a lot of hackathon projects, they just end up on GitHub repositories. But yeah, what I would suggest is if your hackathon idea has won something, try to make it bigger. You never know, like that how huge a project can go.
Right. And the good thing in these type of environments is that people have the opportunity to put aside the entire world
World.
and you just focus on
Perfect.
that, which is like a pretty smart way to navigating the whole entrepreneurship process,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And with that said, which is the project that you have brought to life after a hackathon that you were super proud of?
Yeah. So one of the recent one was I was building this particular platform called Stackit.exchange. So it's like something which I also showcased here at the network school, the one where you can trade baskets of tokens on top of Solana. So it's a way to do that. And it's one of the ways of how I think about investing. So when I started investing into the Indian stock market or something, I found this very cool product called Small Case, which is like similar stuff. It is much more inspired by Small Case. So it was like, okay, you can, instead of investing into one particular company, you can invest in that particular sector. So if you think that you want to invest in pharma, you can invest in a pharma sector. So that would invest your money in 10 different companies from the pharma sector, because that's an easy way for you to be bullish on a sector rather than a particular company. So that's the way. And that's how I learned my investing. I enjoy studying macroeconomics. I enjoy studying like the best way to invest and so on and so forth. So, and I've found, okay, there's a need for such tools in crypto space as well. So I tried to build it myself for like my problems, because like I needed a tool like that. And for some reason, it won the first prize. So once it got validation, we made it bigger into a platform. I asked a bunch of friends to like collaborate with me, and we made it huge. And now, after a few months, it is a live product. You can go test it out and everything. So we are bootstrapping it and also trying to pitch it to a bunch of angel investors at the moment. So yeah, it's pretty good, and it's a product I would use for myself. It's fun to see that there was a problem in my head and I wanted to get it solved, but I figured out that's like a problem for multiple people. So yeah, I guess there were a bunch of projects which were doing similar stuff in the crypto space as well, but they were not as good. So I was like, okay, let's try to build one. And we built it on Solana and it went live, and then it went pretty well.
How did you end up choosing Solana?
Yeah. So basically, Solana was one of the first blockchains. So I started working as an intern at Chain Code Labs. It was not exactly Chain Code Labs. It was a fellowship under Summer of Bitcoin. So it was one of the first student programs which recruited a bunch of students from different places of the world, and they gave you like Bitcoin projects to work on. So that was my way to go. And after Bitcoin, I was like, okay, like there are so many different ecosystems to look around. And after that, I found Solana for the next. And again, I found it in a hackathon where I didn't know anything about Solana. And there was a hackathon, and I was like, okay, I have 1 month long hackathon. I'll learn Solana in that much time, and then I'll try to build around it. So it was some funny project which I built, but it worked. So that's what it matters, right? So yeah, like hackathons are an easy way for you to keep on learning new stuff. That's something as well, because you are under a time pressure that, okay, you need to get this done. And at some point you are just like learning so much in a very short amount of time. When you look back at it, and then you see, okay, I learned so much in just a few days, few weeks or something. So yeah, but obviously I don't consider that it's just like one chain, which is like the best chain or something. I consider we have a multi-chain future coming, and it's like right now, whoever survives the test of time, they will be there. So yeah, that's why I have an open mind, and I consider every chain has their own pros and cons, and you should use a particular chain for its particular pros. So
And I love that way of thinking because every chain has its own purpose and it has its own advantage.
yeah,
And it's like the point of like decentralization where people get to choose like
exactly.
what to use. And sometimes it can be tough to see people who are so set on being a maxi in just one blockchain. What are your thoughts when you come across people or cases where they can see beyond their beliefs that it is just the one thing that's going to survive time and everything?
Like, I understand why they have the conviction. There's one thing about conviction is you can't borrow it. So that's the thing. Yeah, like it's about like, even though like I know so many friends who are like Bitcoin maxis, who are like Ethereum maxis, I am somewhat of a Bitcoin maxi myself. But when it comes to like development purposes, I see the world from a developer's perspective. Like, okay, like what particular chains are scalable, what particular chains offer what type of pros and cons. And yeah, I understand why the people there, because like they are talking about, they have invested like thousands of hours studying their particular ecosystem. And it's tough for a person to go from any ecosystem to another after you've spent and invested so much time from it. Yeah. So that's one way. And obviously, like when you have that hard of a conviction, it's hard to go from your existing beliefs to something new. But yeah, it's fine as well. We need maximalists. And to be honest, there's no better place to learn about differences between Ethereum and Solana than a technical talk where a Ethereum person is fighting against Solana person. And yeah.
Oh, those
Yeah.
debates get very juicy.
Yeah,
I
so
can
those
imagine.
debates, I always enjoy those debates because that's always a fun part to learn something new. There's so much I didn't know about Ethereum. There's so much I didn't know about Solana before. Even though I've invested so much time into it, there's always something which is like new to learn from those debates. And yeah, that's the way.
How about Bitcoin?
I believe, yeah, there is no second best. So, but not, I'm looking a lot towards the layer twos of Bitcoin. At the moment, I don't consider like they are the actual layer twos on Bitcoin. Like I've used Lightning Network, I consider that as a layer two. But all the other things which are coming up, I don't think so. They are layer twos technically. But yeah, I'm looking forward to BitVM and a bunch of ecosystem upgrades which are happening on Bitcoin. And yeah, I'm happy that it is growing, and I would love to see whatever survives and try to build on it.
Yeah, I love that view that you have, especially as someone who's a builder, because you're looking for the feature or the chain that's going to help you achieve that idea, as
Yeah.
opposed to just being so married to one of them.
Yeah.
What's your take on bringing more people onto this space when the learning curve can be incredibly overwhelming?
I consider we have a lot of UX, which is good for a lot of people today. If you have a Phantom wallet, you basically have a Swift account where you can send money from any place to any place. Yeah. Stable coins are a huge use case for anyone who is like non-tech and just wants to have crypto. So if you're a freelance designer, right? If you're a freelance designer staying somewhere in Africa and you want to work globally, right? What is the best way for you to get paid? Yeah, obviously if you have enough skills and the other person is sending you USDC on your Phantom wallet. That's a huge thing.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
because you're saving it in USDC, and you are also like, you don't care about your bank holidays. It can be sent within a second, and you will have it. So that's a huge case for global remote workers, because if you are skilled enough, that makes the entire world possible to you. So this is something which I believe in myself. It's called the TCP/IP visa. So it's a huge thing in India. A lot of people, they think that the West is the place to be to get the most opportunities. So there's a H-1B visa which you require in order to go to the West and get all the opportunities. So like, it's what I would say it is. In every person in India, majority of the people think that, okay, if you have an H-1B visa, that's your passport to like successful opportunities and stuff. But now, because of crypto, if you have an internet connection, I guess that is more than enough for you to have all the global opportunities. So that's why the TCP/IP visa. So if you have a TCP/IP visa, the world is open for you. You can get paid within crypto within a few seconds if you have the skills to do it.
Mhm.
And obviously, it only takes a laptop, an internet connection, and a coffee to work. And so that's it.
Woof, that hit me to my core. And the reason why I say that is because I spent $60,000 USD that turned out to be almost $100,000 Canadian when factoring interest rates and
uh,
exchange rates
yeah.
that I had to pay in order to get my ticket to be able to apply for having permanent residence and then citizenship in,
Yeah.
the first world country. And it was a lot of pressure financially for me, my family,
I
and
can
this was
understand.
years ago, of course, but it's fascinating to see that, like you're saying, that's the old way of doing things.
Yeah.
And as it is right now, and it's just way more accessible to anyone in the world. And when I see people in third or developing countries, I always tell my friends and tell my peers, just go online, learn these skills. You don't have to be working at your local organization who's treating you poorly and you have awful management, and you can just learn these and have access to this world that it's open to anyone
Exactly.
even in the poorest countries too. And I just want more people to hear this message as well. Everything is possible.
I would say I'm not like someone who is from the top tier college from in India, but I just had the hunger to study in COVID time. And because of COVID, I had no college classes and nothing whatsoever. So I was able to spend the entire lockdown into learning different things, and it ended up me here. So that's the way.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started learning all of these
Yeah,
languages?
I started, I guess, when I was 19 or something. But like, it's like I knew C plus. I always loved computers. I loved programming since I was like a kid. But yeah, I started putting in like tons of efforts, like spending 10 hours a day on the screen during like the COVID times.
And now you're doing like you're doing Rust, you're doing C++, Java, and
No one likes Java.
yes.
Actually, TypeScript.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. And how has your work changed with all of these AI agents that are coming up when it comes to coding? How has that changed since you first started
Yeah.
coding?
I enjoy it. So like majority, as I said, like I hate doing front end. I care if it is working. That's all I care about. So front end is something where AI agents shine. So I love that. So what you can do is you can take a napkin, draw something on that, take a picture of it and ask it to create that. And that's all. And that's lovely because I enjoy doing that. Can take care about the backend, the smart contracts or whatsoever. And so that's where like a lot of LLMs like Claude is great, v0.dev is great. So I would suggest v0.dev for anyone. It's getting very cool. It's a product by Versal. So yesterday I was asked to create a portfolio which is looks something similar to a website. So I just took the website's address and the website's URL and just put it there and there. It takes a screenshot, it makes the exact same website for you. You can ask it for the features, it will give you the code, it will also deploy it for you. So all it took me was like 5 minutes of work. That's all.
Where do you see yourself going since we have only a couple of days left in the year?
Yeah, it's been a great year. I've done so much in this particular year. Like network schools particularly has helped me a lot. I didn't know I would run a marathon, but I did this year because of network school. That was something crazy. And yeah, we are at a good space financially and market wise. And as a developer, I would love to keep on doing what I keep on doing and just keeping my head down working. And yeah, I would love to spend more time building my skills as well as like making more projects which can be alive in this world. This year, I was able to study a lot of indie hackers. Indie hackers are people who have a 1 or 2% company and they'll build products and stuff, and it's like that. So I would love to keep on shipping more now that now so many agents are there. I was just studying a lot of them because wanted to be like that someday, and that would be pretty cool to have a lot of projects which are like just deployed around in the world and they are helping out people. So yeah, that's one of the major like good feelings you get as a coder. Like at least for me, it is that if I wrote some code which helped people, like that's a good day to sleep at. So because I'll feel good when I'm working and so on and so forth. So that's something I look forward to. And another thing, like if it's like a normal project and if it helps people, that's something which I enjoy as well. If I build something and it is used by 10 people, like it makes their life easier, I would love to build that. So
Thinking about the benefit that it brings others,
yeah.
what are your thoughts on people who are starting their own companies needing to code versus it being okay with them not coding? So, like the typical non-technical founder.
Yeah, I would suggest at the moment AI agents can be your CTO because like they can help you build a lot. They can help you deploy applications, and we keep on getting better like with AI agents. So like right now, as I suggested, you can deploy a website, all of it in 5 minutes, and you can just give it a go, right? And but obviously, like I do consider the non-tech founders should know basics of programming just to meddle around with whatever things the AI is doing. So I do consider everyone in the world should understand basics of programming because it teaches you a new way to think. And if you know that, okay, programming makes this possible, that is very cool. Consider you are a photographer who wants to convert a lot of PNG files to some other format of files. There are 10,000 images which are of PNG file and you want to change it to something else. It will take like a few lines of code to do that. And all of it will be done within a code snippet instead of just doing it manually or using it something. So if you just knew that, okay, you can do it with code, then you can ask Claude or ChatGPT to make it for you, and then you would do. But like you should have the basic knowledge that, okay, like this is possible. I can do it. I'll obviously need some help with the agent, but yeah, that it is possible. So that's a lot of people which don't even think about it that, okay, that's why they'll go either the manual part and no one likes the manual part. So they would like not doing it as well. So yeah, I would consider like everyone should have enough things. And if you're a non-tech co-founder, you can obviously rely on AI agents, on AI stuff to be your CTO at the moment. Obviously, it's not the best. It can always get better. And yeah, like having some team members who are not like your co-founders, but like someone who can handle that for you, that is also good. Even though I won't say like developers are entirely obsolete, at the moment, AI is amplified intelligence and not artificial intelligence. So if you know something, it will amplify your intelligence, and that's the way to think about it.
Totally. It takes a skill to learn how to use the tool, how to do good prompting,
Yeah.
give it the right information, to use it as your personal assistant, because even that is something that a lot of people are not getting right yet.
So I consider if you're good at conversations and soft skills, you are a good prompt engineer. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have good enough soft skills, so like soft skills basically says that no matter what the language, you pass the message to someone else in a way that it actually goes in the same way, right? So if you're able to talk well, if you are able to present yourself well, you are a good prompt engineer already, because that's exactly what an AI would need for to do something for you. So yeah, a very specific message, a very specific task, consider it as your intern, and then give it a go. So
Yeah, I really look forward to having more people in developing countries listening to this and listening to you about how it's possible to start coding in 2025. Like, it's never too late, and it's never been a better time to start.
yeah.
Of course, the code is never going to be perfect, and I'm sure like a native coder will be able to audit and find areas of opportunities on it up until this point, but anyone can literally pick it up.
Even you did, right? Here at a network school, even you were
Yes,
able to pick
I
up
have
coding
been
skills.
coding, which is wild. Getting in touch again with my technical skills. And even you sent me a couple of days ago these training to learn how to do Rust.
Yeah.
It's pretty long. I think it's 17 hours and it's for free, by the way. So there's no excuse to not learn it. All you need is time.
And a coffee.
And a coffee and a couple of pizzas, because it got me so attracted to the
Yeah.
blinks and
Yeah.
eggs, which is amazing. And I think there's such a huge opportunity on blinks for e-commerce and overall digital products
Yeah.
being used without having to leave the interface, and making that user experience even better than before and easier to buy things. So that's what caught my attention, and it sounds like it's a really new product as of
Yeah.
a
It's
couple
been like
of.
a few months. Yeah.
It's great to see how things are moving, at the same time being careful with not getting too overwhelmed with
Yeah.
data or information overflow.
Yeah.
Before we wrap things up, what's your mission in general?
And there's this one particular quote which you learn in a lot of boot camps is leave a place better than how you found it. So that's a mission I play around with. So if you're at a particular place, if you arrive at a particular place, try to add value to it. And yeah, that's something which is a very core mission for me. So yeah.
Love it. And what's one piece of advice that you will give to anyone who wants to become better programmer?
I would suggest getting a particular tutorial started and just sticking to it. There are thousands of tutorials. There are a bunch of free videos on top of YouTube, which is like one of the biggest is Free Code Camp. It's called Free Code Camp, and they have their own website and a YouTube channel, and it has everything you need. And you can just take an entire, consider you want to learn JavaScript. Like JavaScript is one of the first languages you should learn if you want to build websites and stuff. So take a tutorial, go through it, and this is the way to go through it. Is if you spend 15 minutes watching it, you should spend 45 minutes doing what he did in those 15 minutes. Because whatever he's doing, you'll try to replicate it, you'll try to break it, you'll try to make it better. And that is the way. So if it's a 1 hour tutorial, it's a 4 hour tutorial, because you'll take 3 times more the time to understand it, meddle with it, play around with it. Yeah. And once you're done with the tutorial, try building something. Try participating in some project, or try participating in a hackathon, in just in case. There are thousands of hackathons happening all over the world at any given point of time. And yeah, it's basically, and it's fine to not know things. So there is this huge imposter syndrome, which is like a huge thing in the computer engineers, which is you always keep on feeling that, am I not good enough? Am I not good
Mhm.
enough? To be honest, everyone goes through that. Everyone of goes through that. I know people who have built entire Python frameworks, and they go through that, the imposter syndrome. So there's a very simple line which I would suggest is, if you do not feel imposter syndrome, you are not learning fast enough. So if you're learning fast enough, you'll feel it, and that's good for you. So because yeah, that's the way. And yeah. I would suggest if you stick to a tutorial and finish it and try to build around with it, you'll keep on getting a feedback loop. There are a bunch of domains for a programmer to participate in. There's AI, there's crypto, there's Web2, there's mobile applications, there's so much. So the way I found my place was that I kept on trying different domains for a couple of months. So I tried doing data analytics for a couple of months, and after the couple of months, I knew about it. I built a project around it, and then at some point it felt boring to me. So I was like, okay, let's switch. And then I switched to web, and I switched to Android, and so on and so forth. At some point, I switched to crypto, and there has not been a single boring day in here. So at least that's my personal opinion. So I would consider it like a huge buffet for food. Just take something on your plate, try to taste it. If you like it, take more.
So thank you for sharing, Harsh, and
Yeah,
being with us today. And please let us know, where can people find you or follow you?
sure. So best place would be Twitter. So yeah, my Twitter handle is 0xharsh1001. So yeah,
Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope that you enjoy it, and we'll see you soon.
thanks for having me.